Hi everyone, welcome to another 15 cards. So as always, just going through with a pack that I've opened previously, which is part of my sort of, I suppose, nostalgia binder, which has a booster from each pack from around about just after 3rd edition somewhere up to basically when I stopped routinely opening packs. So probably somewhere, I don't know, just before Phyrexia will be one, Dominaria, somewhere like that sort of period. And certainly before we moved into the era of just having now what are they called, play boosters. So let's go through these Darksteel cards. Usual course of events here, we'll go through zoomed out. I'll read the cards out and we'll zoom in and look at the artwork. So we have Ether Snap, which is 3/2 black. It's our rare. It's sorcery. Remove all counters from all permanents and remove all tokens from the game. Spin Crusher, 2 to cast, 0/2 artifact creature. Whenever Spin Crusher blocks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Spin Crusher. Spin Crusher is unblockable this turn. Mirrodin's Core. It's a land. You can tap it for colourless mana. You can tap it to put a charge counter on Mirrodin's Core. And you can also tap it to remove a charge counter from Mirrodin's Core and add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Psychic Overload, 3 and a blue enchant permanent. When Psychic Overload comes into play, tap enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Each permanent has discard 2 artifact cards from your hand, untap this permanent. We have Darksteel Citadel, artifact land, it's indestructible, tap to add colourless to your mana pool. Echoing Calm. So there was a number of a cycle of echoing cards. These were at common. So Echoing Calm, 1 and a white instant, destroy target enchantment and all other enchantments with the same name as that enchantment. And if you see the other parts of the cycle, you'll see that repetitive same name template going on. We've got Drill Skimmer, 4 to cast, 2/1 artifact creature with flying, and it can't be the target of spells or abilities as long as you control another artifact creature. Burden of Greed, 3 and a black. It's an instant, and target player loses 1 life for each tapped artifact he or she controls. Viridian Acolyte, single green, 1/1. 1 tap, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Grim Claw Bats, 1 and a black, 1/1 with flying. Single black, pay 1 life. Grim Claw Bats gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Jalad Outrider, 3 and a green, 3/1. Creature, elf, warrior, protection from artifacts. Oxider Golem, 6 to cast, 3/2, affinity for mountains. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each mountain you control, and it has haste. Oh, there's another echoing card, Echoing Ruin. So this is a red one, 1 and a red, sorcery, destroy target of artifact and all other artifacts with the same name as that artifact. Arcbound Worker, single mana to cast, 0/0, has modular 1. This comes into play with a 1/1 counter on it. When it's put into a graveyard, you may put a 1/1 counter. Put its 1/1 counter on target artifact creature. And we have Loxodon Mystic. So 3, 2 white, 3/3, 1 white, tap target creature, and it's a creature, Elephant Cleric. So what did we learn before we sort of zoom in here? Well, just looking at the cards before, we got a bit of counter shenanigans going on. Some interesting ways of creating, you know, multiple colours if we want to. And then we saw that 2 cards from that cycle of, you know, cards that care about stuff with the same name. Yeah. And modular, which uses +1/+1 counters. So we're definitely seeing a modular thing in terms of counters and specifically named. A bit of, like I said, multicolour mana generation with that, and what was the other one? Was it Meridian's Core, wherever that's gone? Darksteel Citadel, yeah, Meridian's Core, there we go. And we can see a few cards here that are definitely there to deal with the artifact prevalence in the set. So let's zoom in the right way, try and zoom out. Okay, let's see what we can see when we get up close. Yeah, some quite weird artwork in this set generally. I think there was a lot of things being sort of pulled apart or reassembled from what I remember. But yeah, definitely a card that would look very cool in foil, I feel there. Yeah, and this is another style that I think I sort of remember from the limited amount of cards that I've opened. Darksteel, any packs I would have opened would have either been retrospectively or on Magic the Gathering Online. I think with this set I did open more than just this single pack actually, but it never got recorded for whatever reason. I think it was as a result of doing some sort of kitchen table limited shenanigans. Meridian's Core. I'm trying to remember if that got reprinted and turned up in a Commander product with maybe different artwork. Yeah, something's making me think of that. Fairly straightforward artwork there. Not sure it's. I'm just trying to think how well that represents, like, what the card does. I suppose maybe they're frozen there. I suppose that's the idea. Yeah, this is nice. When this is one of these cards where I'd never paid an awful lot of attention to until I started doing these sort of zooming in episodes, and then, you know, certain bits start to pop. You know, I probably just thought, oh yeah, it's a spire or a citadel in the middle of the card, and that's probably about it. But yeah, lots of interesting lighting here. I don't know if I've ever seen a Darksteel Citadel in foil. It'd be pretty cool to see one of those actually. Here's one of the echoing cards. Elephants. Drill skimmer. I'm trying to even remember if there was a cycle of skimmers. Okay, so Burden of Greed. Now it's easier to see this person here. You're getting a good idea about what might be in the background there. Nice bit of bat artwork. This is rather an interesting face. And that, I imagine, would look very cool in foil. There's a number of sort of bat artwork which is very similar perspective, I think, on it. Geldulo Outrider. I'm trying to remember the card. There's another card in Magic where it's got a representation here of a wolf. Maybe on its own, where it's a similar style of artwork, and I just can't remember which one it is. I wonder if anybody's ever come up with an app where you can just sort of scan it and then it shows you all the cards where the artwork's very similar. I know you can sort of do that in Scryfall, but I wonder if anybody's like automated that. That would be really interesting. Obviously there's apps out there that can look at cards and tell you the price and other things, but I wonder if there's any that show you cards that look similar. If anybody's aware of that, I'd be really interested. You can put a note in the comments about that. Also, I can't remember if this was there a cycle of these? One for each of the types of land. I think there might have been one there. If I did any set musings for this, which would have been a while ago, I'll include them in the description. It's Echoing Ruin, part of that echoing cycle. Some similar things getting blasted there. Rockbound Worker with modular. I think with these modular cards, a lot of them showed, something that was obviously modular, sort of stuff in pieces often. And then Loxodon Mystic. And there's several Loxodon cards where the artwork does look similar-ish, I suppose. Interesting. So there we have it. Hopefully you enjoyed that look through some Darksteel cards. Particularly like that Ether Snap for some reason. I don't know what it is. And there's that other, what did I? Yeah, the Meridian's Call. This might be my favourite card in this pack, just artwork wise. So there we have it. Thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.